Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a special perspective because frankly, I have had it up to, well, here, maybe here. Look, there's a lot of credit card cap going on out there, a lot of financial cap going on out there, a lot of slogans that I've been hearing, and it's about time that I address some of them. I just want to reach out to you guys because remember, this is a place for you to come to become the most discerning credit card user that you can be. And I owe it to you to get you on point. So I'm gonna let my co-star do her thing, and then we're gonna jump right into it.
Welcome back to my dad's channel. If you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share.
First things first, let's talk 800 plus credit scores. Now, I know that having an 800 plus credit score is a goal for some, is a dream for others, and is a straight up flex for the rest of you. But I'm here to tell you, what is the point? Now, don't get me wrong, you want to have the highest credit score that you can in order to make your life easier, but stressing yourself out to get over 100 or, oh, heaven forbid I get a 799, that I'm a failure in life, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, especially for everyday credit matters. And especially in the world of credit cards, a 800 score, okay, it's definitely better than a 600, but for the most part, you can fairly well get everything done with anywhere between a 750 and a 790. Really, anything north of a 750 should get you whatever it is that you need. So I hear a lot of people trying to get 800s or stay above 800. Oh my God, this and that, and whatever. Look, you need an 800 credit score when you are serious about leveraging other people's money for big plans. Or in some cases, like advertisements like this. Would you like to feel the wind in your hair? You know what it's like going down mountain passes and feeling the space of the front seat and the seat belts and such and what have you. Do you want to compensate for, well, everything? Join us for a Lambarosa Testicles GT BDE edition. Zero down and only $7,000 a month for well-qualified lessees. So here's the thing, well-qualified lessees is anybody with anything over a 660 credit score. Not my words, those are the words of Investopedia. By all means, please look it up. So you got this 800 credit score. You're not buying a big ticket item. You're not purchasing property. You're not leveraging for commercial property. What are you really doing with those diminished returns? You know what I mean? You have great habits already. I get it. And I'm not telling you to go out and tank your credit just so you can be in the more acceptable range, but I'm telling you, you are focusing your energy on things that are kind of a waste of time. And on top of that, I've said it before and I will say it again, and people, other credit experts in the space like Nell will agree with me. From Water Your Soil. As a matter of fact, we did a great interview. Please, by all means, check it out. It is right here. He will let you know that your credit score, it's almost proving a negative. That's why nobody can tamp down how much an inquiry is worth. What happens, how many points might you lose depending on which account you close, is because your credit score is a measure not of how great you are with your finances, but on your likelihood to not default if a bank loans you money. So in most cases, you're not supposed to be able to prove a negative, but this is what your credit score is. It's your likelihood to not pay your bills. So just keep that in mind. Remember, I want you to be the smartest people out here. But 800 credit scores, are they a necessity? Not especially. Are they something that, you know what I mean, you can strive to? Yes, but do you absolutely need one in everyday credit card situations? Not really. And take it from me, I barely cracked it. Sometimes I'm over 800, sometimes I'm under. I don't really care. There's no psychological gratification in it for me. And I have over 30 cards. So to that, I got to say, stop the cap. So here's another thing that gets under my skin, that really grinds my gears. Earn and burn is not just a slogan. It is the way. I just, there's no other way for me to say it. It is the way. Because we are dealing with credit card points. Credit card points are a form of currency. You deal with other currencies, like real actual money. Trust and believe that there's a universal rule that money's power is in its circulation, not its accumulation. What is the point of having $10 million in the bank if you're still living in a two-story walk-up and don't even have a washing machine in your apartment? Most people are not going to live that way because it doesn't make any sense. You have to actually do things. So to that, I say to my points hoarders, and specifically to my fellow creators, and specifically to people who listen to this channel and are attacking this with no plan. You owe it to your subscribers, you owe it to your compatriots. Have a plan. Hoarding credit card points is never, ever, 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 ever a good idea. How come you never see videos about people telling me how much cash back they've hoarded? The whole point of getting these points is to trade them in, because much like your regular currency, these currencies are only backed by the confidence that people have in them, so they can devalue them at any given time. I've said this before, the only time you should be saving points is if you have a plan within the next year to use them. You must use these points. At this point, I will say the thing that most credit card creators will never say to you. Cash them out at 0.7 or 0.6. Frankly, I don't really care, but hoarding them does nothing for anyone. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for the people who come to watch you. Because if people see that you have a bunch of points that you don't know what to do with them, you can't then turn around and tell them the virtues of being team travel or team cash back. You're not doing anything with the points that you're getting anyway. And the whole problem is that these points are meant for you to benefit in some fashion, or in some cases to rival how the banks benefit in your specific situation. Understand, when you don't spend these points, you are literally hindering everyone else in the community, because when you don't spend the points, if this is a liability that companies are carrying that's not being used, they may just devalue or eliminate them altogether. So let's just think about that. And I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't know how to redeem. I don't want to hear any excuses. Well, now's not the right time. I don't want to hear these excuses where, oh, well, I'm saving for this thing and my spend obviously doesn't support it because it's so expensive. So what do you want me to do? I want you to do something. There are people like myself, like JP Knowledge, like Lutz Points and Miles, like Sledge. If you don't know, learn. If you don't think you can learn, contract it out. But sitting on these points, it's useless. It's absolutely useless. So some people are contrarians and they just say, you know what, if Chad said it, I think I can find a different way. Look, by all means, find a different way, but definitely find a way. There's no reason to be sitting on 800,000, 900,000. Unless you get so many referrals that the points are coming in faster than you can spend them. I'll give you a reprieve on that, but spend them. That's literally what they're there for. And I don't understand why everybody thinks these points are this magical currency. They're much like the dollars that you carry in your pocket. So at all times, their power is in circulation. You need to be moving these points and taking advantage of these things before they go away. Now, moving on to acceptability, particularly Amex Acceptability. I've been seeing this so many times, like I haven't said it a million times. So I'm going to tell you right now, somebody tells you that you need to be careful with Amex Acceptability, give them the side eye. As a matter of fact, like this, kind of like that, with the side, from the side, because look, Amex is a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation. Why would they risk acceptability issues in especially industrialized first world nations? I've said it before, chances are you're not going to find that one Sherpa in the wilds of Nepal with a square reader willing to take your Amex Gold to ferry you up Mount Everest, but in parts of France, yes. In England, yes. South Africa, absolutely. People will take your Amex card. So people then will question, well, I went to France or I went to England and I had a hard time. Or I went to Beijing and I had a hard time finding someone to take my Amex card. Well, of course, these places have cities that are 4, 5, 6, and in some cases 20 times older than the idea of the United States. There are places where they may have to secure that communication and can't run it because they have historical buildings. Like, you have to take a greater world view of a lot of these things. Now, in tourist traps, tourist heavy areas of Paris, trust me, they're going to take anything that they can to get those euros from you. Same thing with Rome, same thing with London, same thing with St. Petersburg, same thing with Frankfurt, with Stuttgart, with Munich, and the list goes on and on and on. Yes, I get it. There are pockets in these countries, especially the ones that are tourist destinations, but may not be as industrialized as the United States. But let's just be honest here. Amex is not going to leave those markets unattended. So, yeah, you may hit around 90%. That's just off the top of my head. But 9 out of 10 ain't really a bad bet. So understand, look, acceptability, don't let anybody, fear bait you into carrying multiple cards or even applying for cards that you may not need, because chances are your Amex will be accepted, especially if you're going to places that are very much so on the beaten path. Come on, everybody, let's just use a little sense here. Trust me, these tourist destinations are not throwing away dollars over a swipe fee. So let's just stop the cap. All right, now let's talk credit card culture. When you guys get into this credit card game, look, be honest with who you are. Because if you're a cheapskate, if you're cheap with everything else, I'm telling you now, being cheap in the credit card game doesn't help, because your biggest earner of points outside of the sub is going to be organic spend. If for some reason, now that you have a credit card, you don't want to spend any money because you're scared to death of everything, and there's a scam here, there's a scam there, there's this and that, and you all of a sudden become a bargain demon, then what's the point of getting in the game? It doesn't make any sense on a cashback angle, on a travel redemption angle. It doesn't make any sense. This too ties into money's power being in circulation. You need to get a hold on your financial culture. If you are a hyper consumer, chances are the credit card game is probably not for you. But too many people are not honest with themselves about what type of spender they are, how they view finances, how they look at money, how they see investments, how they see savings. And this is the place that I want you to be able to turn and look at yourself and say, self, yeah, that's me. These are the kind of things that you really need to pay attention to, because they want you on the hamster wheel. They do. I'm not going to lie to you. These banks are not your friends. But if you are not going to be responsible at the very least and optimize at the very highest level, then you have no business in this game. Period. I don't care if you don't spend money, you're useless. I don't care if you carry balances and you're funding my points. You're useless, because you're still carrying balances and the banks aren't making the money that they really think they should, because once somebody gets into crushing credit card debt, then they can't slide anymore, which actually decreases the bank's revenue, which then hurts my programs even more. So I don't have time for either one of the extremes. So if you're not a balanced person with a balanced credit card culture, with a balanced financial culture, then you might want to sit this one out. It's okay. You could watch me travel. You could watch some of my friends travel. I mean, by all means. You could listen to all of the people like RJ with Run on the Bank, and you can listen to how everybody optimizes every dollar in their pocket. But if you refuse to be honest with yourself and how you are going to employ and deploy these points, these tools that they give us, then you kind of got to stay out of the way. Because if you think about it this way, a lot of these companies understand that there are optimizers out there, and their job is to make as much money as possible to return to their shareholders. So if they see for every dollar that's spent, it can return $1.10, $1.15, trust and believe they want every nickel of that. The fact that you are getting any return on that means that someone is not doing their job, because that's less that they can return to their shareholders. So I want you to think about that. That's how I think about money. I think of money in a very broad sense. How do people use it? How do people use it for me? And how do people use it against me? And I need you to really sit down and think about your culture. Are you cheap? Do you understand money? Do you only understand money in a straight line? Do you see how it's supposed to bounce back and circulate? Maybe within your house, maybe within your community. Do you understand the power of money? The fact that it doesn't need to sleep, doesn't take a break, and can work 24/7? Understand that. Understand yourself, and you will be ready to not believe a bunch of the cap you hear out in these streets. And finally, you know how I feel about my YouTube perspectives, and there's one that is near and dear to my heart that I have not covered. And once again, shout out to Nell at Water Your Soil, because he reminded me of this. If you're coming up in these YouTube streets, do reaction videos to your favorite creators. I have favorite creators. I've done a couple of reactions to videos that they've put out. Now, some of them have went great, like, with Nell, and we've had an interview about it. And others, they've totally ignored me because, after all, who am I? I'm just some guy. But fostering community and reacting to your favorite creators, and you don't even have to agree with them. You can feel free to disagree respectfully, of course, but reacting to them is a great way to foster community and fellowship, and it can really push you forward. It can get you a greater understanding of the content that you're covering and give your audience and your subscribers a better view into who you are and how you think about things. That's definitely something to think about, and it can lead to some great collaborative efforts. So I just wanted to offer that as the YouTube perspective. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna just wrap this up. It's just certain things just been kind of, getting under my skin that I've been hearing a lot of lately. We have a lot of laughs and we have a lot of great things going on in this community, but I never want that to get into the way of the truth. I never want that to stop people from being the smartest credit card users that they can be, the smartest financial minds that they can possibly be when they walk into a room. Because there's only so many credit cards, there are only so many bank accounts, there are only so many points currencies that can be had. And with that, I am not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to do my pointy thing here. As you can see, I'm sitting at my desk. Don't mind those screens back there. But I just wanted to offer that to you. Enjoy those videos, and I'll see you later.